All right, good evening and welcome to Iyun with Benzion, Yevamos Daled. I have to get this experience eventually. Normally I sit down and give a share, but I was able to find this lectern, this people use for davening, for the Shliach Sibur. So I want to feel like I'm giving a real share for a real audience. So I got the lectern, I'm standing up now. So we're going to give today's share. I'm going to move a little closer because I want you to hear me better and I want to get a better view. But I just wanted to show you the pose that I have. Now we'll get the better view. Of course, Darn Kodesh in the background. All right, listen, today's daf, we talked about the Gemara. The Mishnah says, Chavdalam and Aleph, mitzvah b'gadol yabim im kadam hakatan zacha. The mitzvah is the gadol to do yibum, the gadol, the oldest brother. So therefore, the brother dies. He has four brothers, right? Even let's say he's the oldest, he's the bechor. He has four brothers. So the second oldest brother, he is the one who has the mitzvah to do yibum. If the katan, if a younger brother does it before him, it works. But really, the mitzvah. How do we know this? The Gemara says, "Tana Rabbanan, Vayah bechor, mikansh mitzvah gadol liyabim." It says the bechor. The bechor is talking about. Bechor means the oldest brother. Normally, bechor means peterecha, meaning that you're the mother's first child. If it's the mother's first child, excluding cesarean section, has to be a natural birth, then he's considered a bechor. He's notel pishnayim. One of the halachas of a bechor is that he gets twice the inheritance of his brothers in the inheritance. Meaning, let's say there's four brothers, so you split it 5 ways. He would get 2 parts. Other brothers would get a third. 1/5. So it's 3/5, and he would get 2/5. That would be a mitzvah of a bechor. That is the inheritance of bechor. One of the miles being a bechor. I am a bechor. I do not know my parents are going to give me, because you can change it, right? You could write in your will. The bechor doesn't get. But if you're watching it, mom and dad, the bechor gets pishnayim on bechor. Hopefully, my parents live at Me'av Esrim, but when they do eventually succumb to Amavis, so I'll take the pishnayim. Anyway, what I want to say over here is that his bechor is interesting. His bechor, the Gemara learned mitzvah gadol, and the Gemara is clear from the Gemara. The Gemara doesn't mean just a bechor. You have to literally a bechor, which is peterechem, a real bechor like me. It could be even the gadol, even if he's the second oldest brother. The oldest brother died, and he left 4 brothers. The second oldest brother is still called the gadol. The mitzvah they call the second brother, and then the third brother is related to the third brother, fourth brother. You go in order. You give him the opportunity to yibum, and he doesn't want to. You get the next oldest brother the opportunity to do yibum. Why does it tell you to use the word bechor? It's talking about gadol. So the Gemara really addresses this on the bottom of Chav Dalam and Aleph. The Gemara says the last words al bechor the karya fana lemay hilchasa. Why is it call him a bechor? If it's clear from the Gemara, we'll see it's clear. It's talking about the gadol. It's not talking about a bechor. Where I answer the Ligrius, the topic of Dalmud Beis, Ma Bechor ino notel baroi kol muchsak af hai ino notel baroi kama muchsak. Also over here, he doesn't take baroi kama muchsak. What does that mean? A Bechor, he gets pishnayim, he gets double inheritance. But in the second portion that he gets, he doesn't get. You don't divide that the roy, the money that's coming to the parents that he inherits, the father that he inherits. Creditors owed him, that people, not creditors, people that owed him money, haven't yet paid the money. That's raw. He doesn't own that money right now. People own the money, so therefore you don't get pishnayim. You only get 1 chelik. You divide it 4 ways among the 4 brothers, not 5 ways. So that's what the Gemara is saying, that the halacha over here is by Yevamos it's also like a bechor. So what does that mean exactly? We have an interesting Rashi. The first Rashi on Chav Daled. Second Rashi of Chavdalam and Beis says bechor you don't know tel chelek bechor el benachla ruya lavo lahem achar misa avian el lemasha muchsak biad avian biomoso l'chsiv bechor asher yimatzu lo af yavam hanotel pishnayim b'nichsei aviv chelko b'chelek echav shemeis eno notel b'roi k'mo muchsak. Rashi is an unbelievable, special and unique Rashi that a lot of Rishonim argue on. Rashi says a big chiddush over here. He says the Yevamos is called a bechor in as much as nothing to do with being Yarishman's father, and I mean it has to do with being Yarishman's father. He's compared to bechor, just like a bechor gets double the inheritance, so to a Yavam also gets double the inheritance because he takes over the state of the Yavam. of his brother that died, of his deceased brother. So therefore, when he takes over his deceased brother, it's like he has two houses. He has his own house, his own wife, his own family, and he takes over the wife of his brother. So therefore, when his father dies afterwards, right? His father dies afterwards, and there are four brothers. So one was deceased, one died. So he's going to take two parts, and the other three brothers will take one part. Actually, there are only four brothers. One brother, let's say 5 brothers, and one brother died. So he would take 2 portions. The other 3 brothers would take 1/5. So it would be 3/5 and 2/5, just like a Bechor. The nafkamina is when the father dies, just like a Bechor. He takes Pishnayim. Yevamos takes Pishnayim, his father. As noted, the Rabbeinu Hananel over here argues. He says he would only take Pishnayim if his father already died by the time before the Iyun happened, before his brother died. Then already it was whatever Yerusha he got, the brother got, so he would take over that Yerusha. But if the father hadn't died yet, first the brother dies, and the father dies, he's just treated as one big estate. He's one brother. He's not the Bechor, so he only takes one portion now. So what's Machlokes from Yochanan and Rashi? What's going on over here? I want to suggest like this, that the Machlokes in Rashi and Rabbeinu Hananel is about a Gemara on Daf Chavdal and Aleph. The Gemara says that even though normally we say Ein Mikra Yotzei Midei Pshuto, by this pasuk, the Gemara says we say that the pshat is not relevant over here, and the Gemara says, where's the proof for that? Because the pasuk says that when you do yibum, Yikare al Shem Achav, that you call the Nachla al Shem Achav. So what does that mean? So the pshat means that if you have a child with your deceased brother's wife, so you name the child after your deceased brother. But that's the literal translation. We don't paskin like that. We paskin that it means just for Nachla, you inherit your brother's estate. Not that you have to name him the same name. And that's the halacha. So there's no pshat. So Rashi learns, so Rabbeinu Hananel learns that just like we don't take the pasuk literally for that part, we're also not taking it literally for Bechor. And the reason I mentioned Bechor has nothing to do with that. Why did it say Bechor? So there's 2 parts to a Bechor. A Bechor he's also an oldest brother, and he's also Heterechem. He's a special oldest brother, right? That no girl was born before, and he wasn't a cesarean section. So therefore, he's a special older brother. He's an older brother, but a special older brother. So those are 2 things that are implied by saying Bechor in the Torah. So the Gemara has a drasha. The Gemara says Tanur Mavaya Bechor, the first Gemara, Mikan Shemitzvah Begadol Yamim. So the pshat is, the simple explanation is a Bechor. When you say Bechor, you think Heterachim, you think Bechor. But the drush, the Gemara says later on the bottom of the Amud, that Ma Bechor Bechorosa Garmalaf Gadol Glosa Garmalo. We don't take it literally. So therefore, we take the second appellation, the second meaning of Bechor. They should be the oldest brother. The oldest brother goes first in Yibam, and we don't take Bechor. And therefore, there's no din that when it comes to if the Yavim dies first, if the deceased brother dies first, you don't take 2 inheritances in your father dying afterwards. Rashi though learns that when the Gemara says the Ein Mikri Yosef B'nei Pshuto, that was only talking about the part of the pasuk about Yikar al Shem Aviv. You don't have to name him after the father, but we still, the word Bechor has a pshat, has a drush. And I mentioned before, you can learn 2 things. The Gemara learns things, 2 halachas, one of the pshat, one of the drush. The pshat, the simple explanation of Bechor, is that he's a special child, that he's Heterechem, he's the first child of his mother. So therefore there Rashi learns, that's Rashi learned, Chavdal and Beis, a special halacha, that he actually is considered his house when he inherits his brother. He's like 2 estates. And then his father dies afterwards, he's like a Bechor, a real Bechor that gets Pishnayim. And when it comes to and the drush, obviously, is like the Gemara says at the top that we learn. He's also Bechor, secondary meaning of Bechor. He's also the oldest brother. So we learn the mitzvah of Yib is the oldest brother. That's the 2 things. Hope you enjoyed today's share. See you tomorrow. Bye.